I thought it would be really fun to do kind of a mini reading vlog for the next couple of weeks to see what kind of reads I get into. So for starters, I did pick up Wuthering Heights, and this edition is gorgeous. It looks very like classic, the back also. So I started this book, and a few of my friends and I are going to embark on this journey together to try to read this and then watch the movie after we read this. This book was written in the 1800s, and I certainly can tell that it was written in the 1800s. I am on page 142. So I'm a good portion of the way through. I think I'm like almost halfway through. And when I tell you this is bringing me back to English class, like it literally is bringing me back to English class, because I'm listening to this, I'm also physically reading it, and then I had to look up chapter explanations because this style of writing, especially the time that it was actually written in, I have never felt more dumb, to be honest with you. I have never felt more dumb reading this book. And so what I've been doing is listening to it and then pairing that with actually like listening and physically reading it. So like I don't just listen to it without the book, like I listen to it and read it at the same time. Then after I finish a chapter, I go to this website that has the chapter explanations, and I read the chapter explanations so that I can understand what I just read. And then what I'm doing, and this is like just why I feel like I'm in English class again, because I'm writing on sticky notes and I'm putting them at the end of the chapters, like a summary of the chapters. So I have sticky notes in this book so far. Actually been really fun to do it that way because it's kind of made me more invested in it, and I don't know, it's kind of channeling that like excitement when I first started to fall in love with reading, and it's been very fun to do it that way. I did not realize at all what this book was about. I have only seen like snippets of the trailer for the movie. We're following the story through one of the like maids or servants back in the day when this like original story started. So we're kind of getting this story through this maid's eyes, and that's been fascinating too. I didn't realize like the structure of this story at all. So basically I'm just finding out all of the details of this chaotic family and relationships and all of the things. And I can definitely see how back in the day this story would have been pretty pivotal and groundbreaking and something they've probably never seen before. Back in the 1800s, the darkness of it and the just toxicity of the dynamics are fascinating. So I've actually been really enjoying it, and we'll keep going on reading it, but not too much to update aside from these characters are kind of not super likable. I feel like there's not really a character I'm really enjoying. But I will say, I love a story like that. I love a complex, character-driven story. And it's also just fascinating to read about like that time period, just because the way that they talk, the way that they treat women and marriages, and how like your family name is very important and your status, also how you carry yourself being very proper and put together. I don't read a lot of classics, historical fiction, so this is very out of my comfort zone and very challenging, but I am enjoying it. So we will see how it goes. little update on Wuthering Heights. I am very close to being done. If you can see, I have like a little bit left. And wow, has this book been such a wild ride. It is not at all what I was expecting the story to be. I mean, I've heard that it's just not a very happy story. I feel like what I interpreted this story to be based off of little tidbits that I've heard and then also what I've seen in the trailer, it is definitely not at all what I was expecting it to be. These characters are just so unlikable. I am just kind of at a loss for words. Wow, this story has not gone anywhere that I thought it was going to go. And now I'm even more curious about the movie because I'm like, okay, it seems based off of the trailer that it's going a certain way, and then this story is just so depressing. Like, there is so much darkness in this story that I was not anticipating whatsoever, and it's definitely hard to read, I will say that, but I, for the most part, have been enjoying the complexity of the characters, and half of these characters make me want to punch myself and just yell at them. I guess I don't really have much of an update aside from I've been trucking along and we're getting through it. And now I just want to finish it so I can go see the movie because I am just so curious about the movie and how they're going to do this book. This has been quite the journey.
I have very exciting news because I've been putting this off for a while because I'm scared. But I finally started Kingdom of Ash, and this book is going to be a journey, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm so terrified. But I'm on chapter 2, so like we just started, but I have been putting it off because I know that when I start it, it is going to be my entire like personality while I read it. And I usually try to read a couple books at a time, and I don't know if I'll be able to do that with this book, but we will see. So just wanted to give an update on that because I am very excited to dive into this world, and I've heard great things about this book, and it's been such a journey to get here, and I'm so excited but also terrified. And yeah, I have a little bit of a cold so that's fun, but I need to go to work, but I wanted to give an update, so that's the plan.
So I have finally finished Wuthering Heights, and this was such a journey to go on. I really don't even know how to feel about it. I think this book, going into it completely blind, definitely was an interesting experience because I had no idea what we were going to embark on with this journey. And yeah, I don't know, by the end I feel like I really didn't end up enjoying any of the characters. I think it is just such a dark kind of gothic read, which again, I think I've said this before, but I feel that this story coming out at the time that it came out, I could see why it would be such a beloved story, but also such like a complicated story too, where there's probably a lot of discourse. It probably caused a lot of conversations. And yeah, I'm just fascinated to hear what other people think about it. I will say it's definitely a draining read, and I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. This book was such a challenge for me. It was very outside of my comfort zone, and I don't know, I'm glad I read it. I feel really proud of myself in a weird way, and now I have so many like sticky notes throughout this book. That was kind of a fun experience and added to the reading experience, honestly, like reading it and then going back and doing the sticky notes and stuff. So I feel like I need to gather my thoughts a little bit more about what I think about it, and maybe in my wrap up I can talk more about that. This book has been a journey, and I am glad to be done with it, to be honest. Now that I've finished Wuthering Heights, I feel like I can really dive into Kingdom of Ash. So I have been reading a little bit, so I'm not very far. I'm on page 154, which is kind of crazy because it doesn't seem like I'm very far in this book at all. I am thoroughly enjoying it. I feel like I am taking my time with it this time compared to when I did the tandem read, because I really don't want this to be over, and I'm loving this. I am scared. I don't know how we're going to get out of some of the messes that we're in, and I feel like this whole series has like built up to this point, and so it's just kind of crazy to see where all of the characters are and like where we're gonna go, and I'm so nervous, but I am having so much fun. And what I typically do when I read any sort of fantasy, but especially these books, is I have a fantasy ambiance playlist that I listen to that really elevates the reading experience, because the whole time it feels like you're on an adventure with them, on top of just the way that this author writes, but then also with the music, like you feel like you're in the book and in the world. So that is my favorite thing to do while I'm reading this, but I'm gonna keep diving into this and we'll see how things go for our characters, but I'm nervous. Been trucking along in this book. It probably doesn't look like I am any further than the last time I gave an update, but I am on page 275 and I have been crushing it. Literally last night as I was reading, I started to get emotional at this one part, and obviously I can't like talk about it because that would literally spoil the entire series, but literally everything has led up to what is happening in this book, and it is just done so wonderfully. The found family in this is amazing, and I am just obsessed. Like, I literally don't want this to be done. So I feel like I'm kind of taking it slow and trying to soak up every moment with these characters. I just cannot even believe that I'm at the end. I mean, obviously I still have a lot of book left, but like I'm at the end of the series with this book, which is crazy. So while I have been reading the Kingdom of Ash book, I also am trying to read a few books in between to break it up. So I decided to start The Love of My Afterlife. I have heard decent things about this book, that there's a little bit of magical realism to it. I'm excited to start this and dive in to see how I like it. I've been reading this and I am on chapter 7. So far, we're kind of just getting to know our character. Basically, what I've gathered so far is our main character dies right away in the first chapter and goes to Evermore, which is considered the afterlife, and she meets this girl who is her afterlife therapist. This is so far very witty and funny. There has been a lot of moments so far that I feel like I've been kind of like giggling a little bit and enjoying that piece of it, but basically right now she has struck up a deal with her afterlife therapist. Sorry, the heat just went on, so that might be really loud and annoying. So basically she strikes up a deal with her therapist that essentially she needs to find this guy that she met in the waiting room of this afterlife therapist's office, and she essentially needs to go and find this guy in real life and get him to kiss her. So I think it's going to be a bit of an adventure because she was sent back down to Earth. Now that Xander is playing with his toys, I'm gonna go, but that is the update so far and I'm enjoying it. Hold on. This is crazy. This twist, I was not expecting at all. I'm shook. I'm shook. So I literally just finished this book and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed this read. I was pleasantly surprised by the twist at the end. I was not expecting with this kind of a read to have any sort of a twist, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. What I think I loved the most about this book is that on the surface it is a very magical, goofy, silly read. The sentiment behind this story is a beautiful one. I think on its surface, it's just this kind of magical realism of the afterlife and kind of getting a second chance at life. Then underneath all of that, I think it's about allowing yourself to feel emotions and to not be afraid to take risks and go after things because you have one life. It was really a beautiful, quick and easy read. I literally binged it in like 2 days, I'm pretty sure. But I was pleasantly surprised with this. I really enjoyed this read. I think that is going to be the end of this little reading vlog. I had a lot of fun going through a few books that I read. I feel like I didn't get through a ton of books, partially because I'm still in the thick of the last Throne of Glass book, but I did have a good time and hope you enjoyed coming along with me on a few little reading adventures, and I will see you next time. Bye!